The cameras were flashing. Reporters were shouting my dad's name. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't hiding behind him. I was proud. Because yesterday, he saved someone's life. I know what you're thinking. Of course you'd be proud. But here's the thing. For years I was ashamed of him. Ashamed of what he did for a living. Ashamed to be seen with him in public. No. Now I can't stop crying every time I think about how wrong I was. This is the story of how I almost lost the most important person in my life. Because I cared more about what strangers thought than who he really was. My name is Maya. I'm 17. And I go to Riverside High in California. It's one of those schools where everyone seems to have everything. Designer backpacks. New phones every year. Parents who drive luxury cars to drop-offs. And then there's me. Don't get me wrong. My family isn't poor. We have a house. We have food. My mom works part-time at a dental office. My dad works full-time. But his job. That's where things got complicated. My dad is a sanitation worker. A garbage collector. He drives those big trucks early in the morning. He wears a bright orange vest. He comes home smelling like sweat and something I couldn't even describe. When I was little I didn't care. Thought his truck was cool. I'd wave at him from the window when he passed our street. But somewhere around middle school things changed. I started noticing how my friends talked about their parents. Lawyers. Doctors. Tech engineers. One girl's dad worked for Netflix. Another's mom was a real estate agent who sold million-dollar homes. And when they asked me what my dad did, I'd freeze. I started saying things like, he works in waste management. Or logistics. Anything that sounded better than the truth. The worst day was in 10th grade. We had this group project in social studies. Career day prep. Everyone was sitting around talking about their parents. Laughing. Sharing stories. And then this girl, Vanessa, wrinkled her nose and said, can you imagine if your parent cleaned toilets for a living? I'd literally die. Everyone laughed. I felt my stomach drop. My friend Chloe turned to me and asked casually, what does your dad do again, Maya? I panicked. He's in operations. Management stuff for the city. It wasn't a complete lie, but it felt like one. Chloe nodded and moved on. But I couldn't breathe for the rest of class. That afternoon my dad picked me up from school. He was still in his work uniform. Orange vest. Dirt on his boots. I saw Vanessa and two other girls near the parking lot. They looked over. Whispered. Laughed. I got in the car without looking at him. How was school, sweetheart? He asked. Fine, I mumbled. He glanced at me. I could feel him trying to read my face. But he didn't push. We drove home in silence. And I hated myself for feeling relieved when we got there. After that, I started avoiding him in public. If we went to the grocery store together, I'd walk a few steps behind. If someone asked about my family, I'd talk about my mom's job instead. My dad worked hard. Really hard. He'd leave the house at 5 a.m. He'd come home exhausted. Some weeks he'd pick up extra shifts so we could afford things. New shoes for me. A weekend trip to the beach. Repairs on the car. He never complained. Not once. But I didn't see that. All I saw was what he wasn't. He wasn't the dad in a suit. He wasn't the dad who could talk about stock markets or business meetings. He wasn't someone I could brag about. And the worst part? He tried so hard to connect with me. He'd bring me snacks after school. He'd ask about my day. He'd show up to my soccer games still in his uniform, cheering louder than anyone else. And I'd cringe. I'd look around to see if anyone noticed. Vanessa and her group kept making comments. Not directly to me, but loud enough. Some people really have to work those kinds of jobs, huh? I'd never let my kids see me like that. It made me feel small, angry, embarrassed. So I started pulling away. I'd tell him I had too much homework when he invited me to get ice cream. I'd put on my headphones when he tried to talk in the car. He noticed. I know he did. But he never said anything. Last month our school hosted a community fair at the town plaza. Food trucks. Local vendors. Families everywhere. I went with Chloe and a few others. My dad had the day off, so my mom convinced him to come too. I wasn't thrilled. But I figured I could avoid him in the crowd. Everything was fine. Until it wasn't. We were near the main stage when I heard someone scream. A man collapsed. Just dropped to the ground. People started panicking. Crowding around. Someone yelled, "Call 911." Everyone froze. Except my dad. I saw him push through the crowd. He knelt down next to the man. Checked his pulse. Tilted his head back to open his airway. And then he started CPR. I stood there. Frozen. Watching. People were pulling out their phones. Recording. A woman next to me whispered, "Who is that? Does he know what he's doing?" I wanted to say, "That's my dad." But I couldn't. He kept going. Chest compressions. Rescue breaths. His hands steady. His face focused. Felt like forever. But it was probably 2 minutes. The man gasped. Coughed. Started breathing again. The crowd erupted. Cheering. Clapping. Someone shouted, "You saved his life." Paramedics arrived. They thanked my dad. Asked him where he learned that. He said, "Part of my job training. We're required to know emergency response." A reporter showed up. Started asking questions. Taking pictures. And I just stood there, staring. The same man I'd been ashamed of. The same man I'd hidden from my friends. He just saved someone's life. I couldn't stop shaking. Chloe grabbed my arm. Maya, isn't that your dad? I nodded. She stared at me. That's insane. He's a hero. I felt something crack inside my chest. All this time I'd been so focused on what he wore. What people thought. What his job title was. I never stopped to think about who he actually was. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying everything. Not just the moment at the plaza, but all the little moments I'd ignored. The mornings he'd wake up before the sun. The nights he'd come home too tired to eat but still asked about my day. The times he fixed things around the house so we didn't have to spend money. The times he showed up. Every single time. And I treated him like he was invisible. I cried. Hard. The kind of crying where you can't breathe and your whole body hurts. Because I realized something. He didn't need to prove anything to anyone. He already was everything. I was just too blind to see it. A few days later, the city honored my dad at a small ceremony. The local news covered it. The man he saved was there. He hugged my dad. Thanked him. Called him a hero. I sat in the front row. When they called my dad's name, I stood up and clapped louder than anyone. People stared. I didn't care. After the ceremony, we walked to the car together. Just the two of us. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I'm sorry. He looked at me, confused. For what? For being ashamed. For hiding you. For acting like you weren't enough. My voice cracked. He stopped walking. Turned to face me. Maya. You don't need to apologize. Yes, I do. You've done everything for me. And I treated you like you were embarrassing. Like your job made you less than everyone else. And it doesn't. It never did. He put his hand on my shoulder. Sweetheart, I never needed you to be proud of my job. I just needed you to know I'd do anything for you. That's all that ever mattered. I broke. I hugged him. And I cried. I'm so proud of you, Dad. Not because of what you did at the plaza, but because of who you've always been. I'm sorry it took me this long to see it. He held me tight. I love you, Maya. That's never gonna change. That moment changed everything for me. I stopped caring what Vanessa thought. What anyone thought. Because here's what I learned. Some people judge success by job titles. By money. By what car you drive or what neighborhood you live in. But that's not real success. Real success is showing up. Working hard. Being there for the people you love. My dad doesn't wear a suit to work. He doesn't have a fancy office or LinkedIn profile. But he's the bravest, kindest, most selfless person I know. He taught me what real strength looks like. And it's not about impressing people. It's about doing what's right. Even when no one's watching. I used to hide who my dad was. Now, I tell the world. Because I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm proud. So here's my question for you. Have you ever felt ashamed of someone you love because of what other people might think? Maybe it's a parent. A sibling. A friend. Let me tell you something. The people who truly matter. They won't judge you for that. And the ones who do. They don't deserve a place in your life. I almost lost the best relationship I have because I let other people's opinions matter more than the truth. Don't make the same mistake I did. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever struggled with this? Or maybe you have a parent who works a job that people don't respect. But you know they're a hero. I'd love to hear your story. Thanks for listening to mine. Gratitude, humility, and redefining success through love and character rather than social status.